Hello, folks. Welcome to today's episode of Spill Your Beans. Now, I know I said last week that we're going to do a two-parter mid-season. We're going to skip that to next week. And this week, we were talking about current events. And we figured, you know what? Why not spill our beans about things that are happening every day in our community, nationally, and even internationally? So I think Ish has got some questions for us. So, hey, Ish, why don't you start?
Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of Spill Your Beans. On today's episode, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to go through all the major news that's been in the current events today for Canadian, American, international, every kind of news you could think about, how it's going to affect us, how it's going to affect the world, how it affect every single person. So to start off with these topics, we're going to start off with some local Abbotsford news. We're going to start off with this racist rant that just went viral all over Canada. And this happened in Abbotsford. It was a elderly white male who was talking to, I would say, not an immigrant, but someone of color. And he was saying some racist remarks. Now, I just wanted to get two of our members, Jazz and David, and see what their opinions on the matter was. So let's start off first with Jazz. What are your opinions on this matter?
Well, the racist rant. Definitely an unfortunate situation that arose from parking in the wrong spot in the wrong way. And then retaliation with the parking guy. And the person who's parking a spot happened to be there with a camera, who also happened to be a minority. And if you haven't seen the video, I'm sure you could look it up, or it's been on the news, it's been on all the social media. But in my opinion, I think the fact that it was in the open is better than hidden racism. What I mean by that is he said his piece. He doesn't like brown people, or I guess go to India, or whatever he said. Got a chuckle out of it, but being in front of you and seeing it, you can address it like we are right now. You can talk about it. You can do something about it. But then there's racism where it's not known. It's hidden. It's in the background. It's like to somebody's face where, hey, how you doing? Everything's great. And then behind closed doors, or the person walks away, you talk bad about them. So in no way is racism a good thing, but having it out in the open, I think it's easier to discuss or do something about it. Now, I don't know how that's going to change with David's opinion, but I can't wait to hear his.
Oh, okay, that was good. David, what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, so I've never seen the video, but I don't think anyone should really watch the video, because what you're doing when you're watching the video is you're helping someone spread essentially hatred and racism. You can almost think as like racism and like negative thoughts as like germs, and when you're spreading them around, they'll grow, because maybe someone relates to that guy, and then he'll be like, well, I guess everyone thinks like this, like there's more. Maybe spreading it doesn't make it get better, it makes it get worse. That's my opinion on it.
Another local thing that happened in Abbotsford, unfortunately, was a stabbing that happened in the school. Now, this happened to underage students in Abbotsford local high school, which is something unheard of in Canadian history. This is the first time to ever happen in Canada, and it was such a horrific thing. Now, to take away from this event, we'd like to show a different side or a different opinion. We'd like to show people what they could have done or what could be done in that kind of situation. So, David, what is it you think could have been happened, or what could have been prevented, or what could have happened to make that situation a little bit better?
So I really don't think there's anything, well, there's millions of things anyone could have done, but would they have known to do them is a different question. It was like the exact circumstances needed to happen for this. And there's nothing anyone could do about it. You kind of just have to accept that sometimes bad things happen to people that it shouldn't. And you have to just hope for a better world tomorrow.
Okay, Jazz, so what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, Ish, now you asked, how can we do something different in that situation? Now, I'm not going to say lock up the doors, put metal detectors. That's wrong. It seems very drastic approach for this one incident, but it's not a small incident. Somebody lost their lives. Somebody's freedoms are taken away. Somebody's loved one, child, sister is now gone. But in order to fix it, I don't think you don't fix it. What I think you do is you take this as a learning tool. And what I mean by learning tool is learn some self-defense. Learn how you would react if somebody was coming towards you. And don't worry, we're in a very near future episode. We are figuring this out, and we've got 2 of our team members that are going to share, one, the health tips. So learn what you would do in such a situation for first aid. How you would secure the injury, secure the area, secure the room you're in, who to contact. So this is the approach we're going to take from the show. We're going to try and share with you, not preventative measures. I don't think I could prevent a stranger from coming into my school while I'm sitting at a desk studying. I can't do anything about it. I don't even know what's happening. But now that it's happened, in the moment, how you would react to such a situation is what we're going to address, I think. That's the approach we're going to take. So, coming soon, all right?
Okay, let's go to a little bit lighter news. Let's see what our guys have on thoughts about Colin Kaepernick and his kneeling during the national anthem. So, Jazz, what do you think about this, knowing that you're a sports guy? How do you feel about the situation?
This has been talked about so much, and it's a big deal made out of something because the national anthem is something to be proud of. Now, proud is a strange word, pride. You're taught to be proud of your culture, your heritage, your school, your country, your team. It's a pride thing, but what makes us butt heads with other people? It's our own pride. Now, I could say be proud of your kid for achieving good grades, be proud of your family member for an achievement, but don't hold pride above somebody else. I think that is what gets us in trouble. In this situation, I think it was a great approach. He took a stand, well, a knee, when everybody else would take a stand, and represented it differently. And why? To get a reaction, to get people's attention. And we're talking about right now, months after this has happened, and people are doing it on a regular basis. And do you think it's a wrong thing? Well, if you think this was disrespecting his country in any way or disrespecting the national anthem, I think we would have a right to say that was wrong. But he's trying to make his country better. He's trying to make people see a different side of not sport. He's using sport to make a difference in life. And that's very important. And it's a very powerful tool. I'm not here to judge him for what he did. And I actually support what he did. And the reason that is because he cares. He wouldn't do this if he didn't care. You think he would want to take a knee in such a situation and bring all this negativity upon himself, upon his team, upon his family, his future contract and money he's going to make? I don't think he was thinking that. I think in the moment, he felt the need to do something. He did it, and good for him, and we're still talking about it. Hopefully, it was profound enough that the changes he wants to make happen, or people realize that it's not just a small deal. This affects a lot of people, and not just in the US, but Canada and overseas. So good for you for taking a knee where you should have taken a stand.
David, I know you're not as big of a sports guy, but let's see what you can say on this.
So I don't know. I remember that there was a guy taking a knee at a football game. I've just been told that it wasn't Canadian. But he's associating his culture and his religious values with the American national anthem. And I don't see how there could be anything bad that comes out of that. Like, he's not sitting there and sitting down on the field just saying, "Oh, I hate America, I'm sitting down." He's taking a knee out of respect. I can't see how anyone could have a problem with that.
Now let's go into something a little bit different. Kevin Durant leaving OKC Thunder to go to Golden State Warriors, a team that beat him in the playoffs. I don't know, this could be something some people would say this was a big betrayal. Some people said he was doing the best career move he possibly could. David, what do you think about this?
So sports teams, generally like the professional leagues, they kind of just buy players. They're not necessarily from the cities they're representing, so I don't really see how you can betray a team or a city that you probably don't live in. My opinion. I'm not a sports fan, if you can tell. I probably offended someone.
Okay, Jazz, I know you're a basketball guy. What do you think about this?
Not a fan. I'm an old school guy. And for me, when I say old school, I grew up with the Lakers and Pistons and the Bulls. And back then, make it sound like a century ago, this is the 80s and 90s, nobody really left a team to chase the ring unless they were like at the end of their career. So every superstar that I can remember stayed at their drafted team, unless they were traded within the first year or two or on draft day. Most people had that loyalty to their team, loyalty to the city, and they stayed and they fought until it was almost time to go. And then a year or two before retirement, they would trade to a team which is about to win, just to fulfill the career and say, you know what, I've got a championship. Nothing wrong with that. But here in Durant's case, he was the leader. He's an MVP. He's a leading point getter. He's basically abandoned his team to ride the success of an already awesome team. Did they not have the best record ever in the history of NBA basketball? They did. Did they need to sign a superstar athlete to get better? They didn't. And look, now what's happening? They've got a worse starting record than they did last year. Of course, chemistry and everything. But for me, personal opinion, he should have stayed in OKC. I know it's tough with Westbrook there and all that. We won't get into detail about sports. But it comes down to loyalty and chasing the dream. Or achieving the dream. If he stayed in OKC, he would have earned his championship. He'll still earn it. He's not going to be a bench rider. So he'll earn it playing in Golden State. But it's more like buying a championship instead of winning the championship. So, yeah, I could keep talking about this, but I should probably cut this one off. So, Durant should have stayed in OKC, but good luck on your new adventure. I don't want to see Golden State win, but good luck anyways.
Now let's go into something a little bit more international. It starts off in Canada and makes its way into America. Let's talk about a little bit about the Keystone Pipeline and what this deal, why there are people objecting this whole deal, and what the whole issue behind this is. Jazz, what do you think about the pipeline?
Really? You went there? See, when I read the pipeline thing, the first thing that pops to my mind is how we portray this in social media. And I'm going to use a story because I shared it on my social media about the Dakota. And it was a picture about tens of thousands of people at a rally. And I shared the post. And within about a minute, a friend of mine sent me some quote and a link and said, hey, Jazz, check this link out. And that picture was actually not of the protest rally in Dakota. It was actually of Woodstock back in the 70s. So check your information. Second, it's what? The public versus corporation. It's a challenge that is from day one. It's about money and land. Now, do we have enough oil? Is there any other ways of getting this oil without going through somebody's cemetery, somebody's sacred land? Oh no, but that would be too expensive, wouldn't it? Well, if this is about the betterment of humanity, the betterment of lives, then you have to go around. There's no other option. For me, I drive a hybrid. All right, so I don't need that much gas. It's about environment, healthy, clean living, and I don't know. Should I give Toyota a plug? Sure. I drive a Prius, okay? So you can tell that I'm not about fuel. I'm about making a difference, and in every aspect, whether it's what you drive, whether it's how you wash your clothes. So for me, I don't like the idea of the pipeline. I wish more people would take a stand. I wish I had the freedom that I could get up and go there and take a stand. But life is, it's like we're plugged in. It's very hard to unplug from everyday life and leave everything to go support this cause. But if I could, I would. All right.
Wow, I'm really surprised we're still going through all this. We have other ways that we could be powering, and yes, it's expensive, but that's because we keep refusing to do it. Like solar panels are a thing. We can build them. Yes, they're expensive. Build them anyways. That's how humanity survives. Whatever money is not a factor. Guys, it's this or like run out of oil.
Now, last but not least, let's have a little discussion about the election that just happened south of the border a couple of days ago. Donald Trump winning the election. Jazz, I know you have some strong opinions about this, so what are your thoughts about it?
Donald Trump. The Trump. Well, I guess President Donald Trump. Well, I like this one, Ish. I'm glad you asked this. About a month ago, when the election was happening, I remember saying to you that he's not a bad guy. I don't think Trump is a bad guy. And the explanation I gave is like, you know, when you're little kids and say you're a good person, and then all of a sudden you get labeled as the bad guy. So instead of accepting that in that moment, you kind of rebel. You're like, I'm not a bad guy. Really, you're calling me a bad guy? And then you turn around and say, well, if you think that was bad, here, I'll show you bad. And so you take on that persona. You become that bad guy. And I think in Trump's life, at some point, he became the bad guy. You know, I really don't think he is the bad guy. And as president, I think he's actually going to be really good. I'm not talking about the immigration thing or building the wall. But think of it this way. He is an alpha male who pushes to get his way. Now, in business, he is the person that he is now because of everything he's gone through and being the bully. He literally fights to have his way. Now he's in office. So I'm guessing he's going to think he's empowered or entitled to more rights. And so he's going to try another business venture. And somewhere along the line, his government or the system is going to say, Trump, you can't do that. And that is the best thing that could happen to the American public. And why is that? It's because he will take a stand against the system. He will fight the idea of not being allowed to do what he wants to do. So as bad as a guy as we think he is, when he gets into office, takes over, and his own government doesn't let him take one of his ventures or try something, well, he's going to be on our side. And I think he'll change a lot of policy for good. And I hope I'm right on this one. But that's what I think is going to happen with him. First off, I can't believe he got elected. And that comes down to voting. I can't remember the numbers, but it was almost 50% of the population didn't vote. Well, on the other side, 50% I guess did vote. But yeah, I can't wait to see what happens in the next couple of years with this one. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people and do some good out there.
David, let's go to the lighter side of things. Let's see what you have to say about this.
So Trump's like whole campaign, which is most of really what we have at this point. I'm not sure when this episode's going up. His whole campaign has been the most interesting thing to watch, because you end up with this guy, and like during the Republican voting, he was doing all kinds of crazy things, like not showing up to debates and just like holding rallies for himself instead, and just messing with the whole system, and it was amazing. And then when he goes to become president, like he doesn't do anything the way he's supposed to. And I don't know, I kind of enjoy that, but the policies he was saying, I couldn't disagree with like any more. I mean, that's the wrong inflection there. I couldn't agree with them at all. So of course I wanted Hillary Clinton to win. I shouldn't say who I want to win. I don't care. With political reasons, neither of them had anything useful. But what's really funny is now that he's won, he's gone and like just, from what I can tell, done a complete 180. Like I've seen him like holding a pride flag, and like it's like, oh, he's not gonna get rid of Obamacare apparently, which was something that his main platform, which is, I think, a terrible thing for a politician to do, but sounds better to me, so I'm gonna let that slide. That's right, I let Donald Trump get away with things. That's gonna be a GIF somewhere. Just that. There's one thing that really bothered me though, and that's once Donald Trump got elected, his supporters just decided that it was okay to go around and harassing people for the color of their skin or their heritage. Usually these people are American citizens that were born here, but even if they're not, even if they're immigrants, even if they're illegal immigrants, they're people, and you're just being awful to them. And it's like, I don't think I've ever been wanting to be violent towards someone as much as when I was reading those things on the internet, and I just think it's not okay.
But folks, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Spill Your Beans. I hope you enjoyed that question and answer period with David, Ishwar, and myself. We're going to try doing this once a month. Find some questions or events that are happening locally, within the province, country, maybe south of the border, or internationally, and open it up and spill our beans to you. With part 2 of our mid-season episode, we'll continue that next week. So tune in.